Today we'll discuss how to record waste and trades from one location to another inside Data Central. In order to record your waste, you're going to navigate to your Daily Activities folder and navigate to the Waste Tracking activity. Once you've checked your waste tracking activity, you're going to want to navigate up to the View and deselect your menu and To Do, so that way you can see in full screen view after you've entered your daily waste activity. You'll need to select the date that you choose to waste the items. Once you've chosen the date, you will then navigate to Task and select Next. And it will bring you to the screen to record your waste. Waste is recorded as bulk unfinished items. What is meant by that is we don't record items such as cheese conies that were made mistakes, or three-ways, or burritos, or finished product. However, we do want to ensure that you record items such as the buns, the hot dogs, the chicken, the spaghetti that you throw away at the end of a shift. Also, any mistakes that would be made on a bulk level, such as if you were shredding cheese and you dropped a block on the ground and you need to waste that particular item. Or if you were preparing chili and something happened during that batch of making chili that you were not going to be able to serve that, you would want to waste that particular item. So the way you record waste is you would find your item that you want to record, select that item, select the unit of measure of how you're going to waste that item, then select the quantity of those items that you're wasting. The cost will automatically generate, and the cost is based off of the most recent invoice that you've received. It will take the quantity times the cost and give you a total waste value for your waste. And then you're welcome to leave any type of comments. I recommend putting your initials in to record your waste. In order to add additional items, simply click below the item that you just wasted and enter in a new item. Determine how you want to waste that particular item. Once you've received that item on an invoice, it will generate the cost of that item. Once you've completed your recording of waste, you can then navigate to the Tools tab and save your waste. Once you have saved the waste, you then navigate to the Task tab and approve your waste. All waste must be approved after it's entered in. You do have the ability, if a mistake was made, to then unapprove your waste and make adjustments to it. For example, if the wrong item was entered into the waste, you could highlight that item and delete that particular item. Or if you need to add additional waste to an item that was already there, you can then change the number for total waste. The waste page does not allow you to enter an item 2 different times, so you can only enter it once, and then you can also leave additional comments behind that. And then, of course, you can add additional items of waste if you choose to. So if you have, for instance, end of the night, you're going to come back in and add your half pan of spaghetti that was wasted at the end of the evening. You have the ability to do that. Then you would navigate back to the Save and Approve. Once you've completed recording your waste, you can close out of the waste activity. Additionally, when you've done recorded your waste, you can then navigate to the Task tab you can navigate to reports, and you have the ability to run a waste report that will show you the waste that has been recorded at your restaurant for either the individual day or for a date range or time frame. Simply select the dates that you'd want to review and select View Report. When your reports open, they will always open in the middle of your screen. At the top of each report, there's a header that's in this light blue color that tells you how long it took for the report to run. By double-clicking on that header, you can make your report full screen, and then you can review the detail of the waste for that day. Once you've reviewed your waste report, you can then close out of this activity, and this concludes the waste section of DC training. Additionally, I'd like to cover trades and talk to you about how to best record trades from one unit to the next. When you are trading items or letting another restaurant borrow items, all borrows and trades should take place through Data Central, even if you plan to get that product back. This allows for daily and mid-shift reporting to always be accurate when items have left or entered the restaurant. In order to trade, you will navigate to the menu feature under the Purchasing and Inventory folder and select Trades. Under the Trades activity, you will have a list of restaurants that you're able to trade with. Initially, you will go to the start screen and you will have the filters of all trades, incoming or outgoing, and then the trading units that you have currently traded with. The recommended direction is to always check all trades and all units and then select Next. Once you've entered into the trades, you have the ability to see those trades that have taken place in your restaurant or the ability to add additional trades. You will notice that there is the details, which gives you the detail of the actual trade and shows what item was traded and by what unit of measure, the quantity of that item, the cost associated with that item, as well as the extended cost. Additionally, you will notice that the trade was either an outgoing or an incoming trade. It will show you the trade date that the trade took place on, and it will assign each trade a trade number and then show the trading unit being the unit that traded the item, and then it will show the amount as well as the status of that particular trade. To create a new trade, you simply navigate to the Task tab and select the Add button. At this point, you have the ability to uncheck all trading partners to make all restaurants available for trading. By leaving this checked, all you will see are those restaurants you have already traded with prior to performing a trade. Unchecking gives you all restaurants. So if I'm at this particular restaurant and I needed to make a trade with another restaurant, I would select that restaurant, select Create Empty. There is no template for trades. There is no memo for trades. I would select my trade date, and then it would assign a trade number. At that point, I would select OK, and it's going to create a trade invoice for me. I can then navigate to the details of the trade and enter in the particular item that I am trading to the unit. So if I needed to trade a cube of chili, I would select an item of cube of chili, select the type of cube I'm trading, the number of cubes. it will assign the cost based off of the most recent invoice you've received and assign the extended cost by multiplying the quantity by the cost. Once I've created the items and if I need to create additional items, I can select those down below. Once I've created the items I'm trading, I would navigate to Task and select OK. At this point, a trade to the that is outgoing has been initialized from this restaurant to the trading restaurant I'm trading to. And you can notice under the status it is initialized. That particular restaurant will then need to accept that trade. The receiving unit of a trade will then log in through the menu to the purchasing and inventory folder to trades. They will ensure that all of the proper filters have been selected and then select Next. They will see that there's an incoming trade for that date with a trade number that's been assigned to it and from the trading unit with the amount and that status has been initialized. At that point, the receiving manager needs to navigate to Task and select Modify. The receiving manager then will either accept or dispute that trade. By disputing it, they're essentially refusing that they received that item. By accepting it, they are agreeing that they have received that particular item. They will then select Accept if they've received, and the status will move from initialized to accepted in the receiving unit. Additionally, in the restaurant that sent the trade, when they log back into their trades, they will notice that once they have selected their filters and moved to the trade screen, that the item that they sent to that restaurant has now been accepted. This concludes the training session on waste and trades.